Welcome back. We're looking at the fourth domain of the Big Five today, which is agreeableness. And if you remember from the introduction, a basic summary of that domain is showing concern and help for others. I like the picture of the Superman guy. He's there to be helpful to somebody else, to smooth out conflict, to make for a more unified environment, especially among relationships. But as I've said before in the other videos, some of the terminology used, especially in the first four of the OCEAN acronym, may sound like there's a lot of overlap. So let's go over again just a very brief definition focusing on the specific differences between especially the first four. Openness concerns our internal receptivity. Conscientiousness concerns our external action. Extroversion concerns our internal energy. Agreeableness concerns our external relationships for unity or at least peace in the situation. And neuroticism concerns our inner and our external self-control. And again, each domain links a person to their environment and addresses their motivation. Why are they open? Why are they conscientious? Why are they agreeable? What do they want to accomplish? What's the internal desire that's impacting how they act in their external environment? And the polar disposition for agreeableness is being contentious or candid. Now, as I've said before, a lot of presentations on the Big Five will say that the polar opposite is a bad thing, it's pejorative, and they'll stigmatize it, and they'll call it being argumentative. I choose the words more carefully, contentious or candid, because we need people in our lives who are candid. They will tell us the hard truths that we need to know. They will contend for what they believe is right. When everybody else has a different idea, they'll stand up. And we need to hear that voice, because if we're surrounded by yes men, how will we ever know if there's a different possibility? So somebody who likes to start fights, that's a different thing. But somebody who's candid or contentious out of courage, out of moral courage to do the right thing, can be very helpful to a group. Agreeableness will manifest in a spectrum of social serving, as I said last time, both broadly and deeply. For example, trust, altruism, compliance or cooperation, modesty, gentleness, etc. If you remember last time, I distinguished between extroversion, which is social seeking for energy, and agreeableness, which is social serving for unity in relationships. Different direction, different purpose, different motivation. They're both about fitting the person to the environment, but they have different foci. Now, as I've said in previous videos as well, there are different benefits and challenges to people who score high in agreeableness. For example, people who score high are certainly enjoyable members of any team, even under stress. They can speed progress, focusing on positives, not the negatives. And when they're also high in openness, they can be effective in mitigating conflict. But scoring high in agreeableness is not always a good thing. For example, they are more likely to miss or overlook negatives, to be in search of the positives. They may have difficulty bringing bad news, for example, disciplining subordinates or parents disciplining their children. And others who are high in neuroticism may see them as insincere or holier than thou. And not just those who are high in neuroticism either. Others can see them that way depending on how consistently and how intensely they are agreeable with others. So there are challenges to people who score very high in agreeableness, and you just need to be aware of those. So again, the recommendation remains the same. Measure the need for your agreeableness by your fit to your immediate environment. Where are you? What is your team like? Is this family? Is this work? Is this the weekend? Who are the people on or in your group or on your team? What is most helpful and honorable in this situation? And then choose the intensity of your agreeableness based on those factors. Hope that makes sense. Hope that's helpful. And hope to see you next time as we look at the last of the domains, which is neuroticism. And then we'll make some more broad and specific applications to work, family, and social environments. Hope to see you next time.